Well, hello, tis Jono here, coming back with another review for you, and we're going to do another one to try and finish off um, another Beer 52 magazine. This one is the Beer Awards, the 10th anniversary, and the beer we're doing is from this brewery over here, Basqueland, and they've won EU Champion of 2023, and it's a small kind of little article in there which basically says they won because they're helping Spain challenge their kind of lager mentality. Because, yeah, for a while it was really difficult to get anything but lager over in Spain. So, really, really good job. And apparently, according to one of the guys from Beer 52, this one has got the beer of the box. So, mighty praise, I guess, from Basqueland. The Adventures of Mr. Malty, and it's a Baltic porter, which is kind of interesting. And look at that, it's weird. There's Mr. Basque Man. I get no Mr. Malty, I should say. Looks like a grain of barley. Looks like a Indiana Jones or something like that, running through a cave with bats attacking him and all sorts of craziness. It is quite a strong one, this one, although it's in a small bottle, a small can, a 330, 7.2. Ask for Basque. Very, very cool. And we have got the ingredients up here: barley yeast, hops, water, I guess, yeah, at the beginning. No oats and stuff. So, yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Really, really looking forward to this one. Now, let me read what the information off the Beer 52 website says, because it's no longer in the magazine. I wish they would put it in the magazine. Anyway, sorry, dear viewer, while I read from the screen. Let me hold this up as well. Let's try and do some double multitasking kind of wrongness. So this is James Cayley, the senior beer buyer from Beer 52. He doesn't look that old to be senior, but hey, that's it. If you do a job over 1 year these days, you're a senior. Of course you are. Basqueland produced some top class beers and are particularly skilled with dark beers, so that's good. This beast of a beer will provide a journey through different aromas and flavors: dark chocolate, toffee, raisins with a hint of coffee, a subtle amount of alcohol. Really, for 7.2, that's quite high for me. Gives complexity to savour in every sip. That's very, very interesting. Right, let's get this into a glass. Actually, let me go back to where I was before, because it actually tells me what the malts are. So, Mr. Malty, you want to know what the malts are, right? So, let me pour this, and then we'll talk about malts, because there's quite a few. And there are obviously a few dark bad boys. Oop. Oh, bit of gibber. Look at that. It was pretty full, so it's kind of gibbered a little bit, but hey, no worries. We can get around that, dear viewer. There we go. That has poured very nicely. Can we do one of these? No, I think with Mr. Malty deserves his own kind of cred, doesn't he? So let's put that in the focus. Come on, Mr. Malty, focus. There we go. Mr. Malty's in focus. I'm out of focus. Oh, it's focused on me. Well, sorry, dear viewer. It's going to have to focus on me. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's do a finger check. So we're almost spot on a finger's worth of head. Now, interesting use of hops. So there's Chinook, apparently, is the main hop in this bad boy. But the malts, Mr. Malty's malts, I haven't drunk any yet, is Carafa 3, chocolate malt, Munich malt, and Cara Munich 2. along with some extra pale malt, which sounds silly for such a dark beer. And this is really dark, like jet black. Baltic porters should be pretty dark, to be honest. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, and if you're new to the channel, that's absolutely fine. Why not join the Jonna Army? Click like and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff down below. Even a beer this dark is probably at least sort of 80% pale malt with all those other dark malts just to give the color. So it's in America, for example, it would be two row, but they've used extra pale in there. That's a shame. The head is fast disappearing. See, it's just disappearing from the top. What I want to see, is it going to give us some lovely tide lines? Is 2024 going to be the year of the tide line? Look at that. It's set. The cap has really set right on top of that beer. Fantastic. Right. So at the moment, I'm just getting chocolate and a little bit of coffee, which I'm not surprised about. There's a little bit of kind of sweetness, and from looking at the ingredients, they've done it pretty traditional. They haven't added anything, or they haven't told us that they've added anything to this. But the chocolate kind of smells at least like a kind of milk chocolate, as opposed to, you know, that real dark, gnarly stuff. It's probably going to change in my palate, but we'll see. We'll see in a minute. Maybe hints of kind of vanilla, that type of stuff in there. Who knows? Anyway, cheers and beers. This is the first Beer 52 beer that I've done this year. Where are we? Are we second? Yeah, second. So cool. I'm losing track of time. Yeah, I had a message today before I start drinking from Sarah Pantry. If you're listening to this, Sarah, thank you so much. Invited me to do some beer judging, which would be absolutely fantastic. However, as some of you know, I've had some bad family news, family problems over Christmas, and I'm not 100% sure that I'll be able to make it. It's over in Bristol or somewhere in the West Country. Not 100% sure I'll be able to make it over there, but I really, really want to. It's like, really good opportunity for me. Oh, and it's a homebrew competition at national level as well. So it'll be a fantastic opportunity. Things like that don't come around that often. So I really want to be part of it. But like I say, not 100% because, yeah, I'm sort of caring for my partner basically. Yeah, who, well, I suppose it's no secret. She had a stroke over on Boxing Day, and we spent the majority of Christmas in our lovely local hospital, which is an awful place. But anyway, I'm trying to be positive, trying to be positive. But she has a lot of looking after that's needed. So don't know, man. Don't know if we can do it at the time, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh, wish I really want to go. Anyway, let's dive into this bad boy. Whoa, look at that. It's produced some lovely looking lacing, all coming down the glass. Fantastic. Taste wise, really nice, really smooth. Not as dark, not as heavy as I thought. This is actually quite a light tasting beer for 7.2%. It's wow, it's sliding down really, really well. Body kind of medium, I'd say. Definitely the coffee is coming through. Not a super espresso. This is more like an Americano kind of thing. Bit of earthiness. The chocolate's there too. Yeah, they've balanced it really, really nicely. The danger with some of these stronger beers as we approach. This isn't described as an imperial stout, but as we approach the kind of imperial level, is that you get loads and loads of bitterness. Um, and some of the barrel aged ones and the ones that you store longer kind of melds together. This tastes really clean. I'm liking this. They did say that they'd added CO2 to it, so this is not a kind of from camera. If I put my camera hat on, this is more craft than cask. Obviously, it's in a can anyway. But at least they said that they've back carbonated it. If that makes sense. Which is absolutely fine. It's not pretending to be anything. But for a purist like me, it's a kind of, yeah, I don't know if I would say that's the best thing to do, but a lot of people do it, so I'm not complaining too much. Right, let's dive in, see what we get this time. Look at that. That line is still there. Really, really nice. I'm liking this beer. Whoa, another unbelievably thick, fat line. Wow, look, for the amount of head that's left, I don't know if you can see. I can see. Yeah, the head has kind of gone in the middle of the glass. Can you see that? Look, there's some dancing kind of things, or mistletoe. There's a load of mistletoe hanging from my tide line. Yeah, looking really, really good. Like I say, quite medium bodied. If you had this next to a Guinness, obviously it would taste different. Guinness tastes more bitter, I would say, than this beer. They've managed to keep a lot of residual sweetness, and it's almost double the strength. Not quite, but almost. But the body, the creaminess is there too, which is amazing considering there's no oats in here. Although, do we actually believe the label? Don't know. Well, let's say we'll give it a chance and say we are believing what they say on there. But yeah, it definitely tastes. Yeah, it's got that lovely creaminess in there. And that would also explain why there are some fantastic tide lines on there. They've done this with just barley. Wow, my God. Really, really good stuff. Taste wise, still quite mild. It's not a dry stout and it's not a sweet. It's in the middle. And maybe some people would go, it's a little bit boring. It's in the middle ground, that kind of stuff. And that's not the right way to look at it. Well, from my point of view, anyway. Sometimes, and I hate to use the kind of craft beer analogy, but sometimes people that like craft beers only like sours or only like really hoppy beers. And that's fine, that's absolutely fine. But they kind of overlook beers that are, how shall I say, traditional. They've been around for a while, they've been around for a long time, but they get overlooked, they get put to the side. Um, and it's a shame because sometimes people get a beer really, really well done. They dialed it in through a few versions or through a few. My God, that's what happens when you have a 7.2% beer. A few iterations, dear viewer. That's the word. Managed to get it out finally. But they kind of developed something into something really, really good, and then people go, I've had that beer now. You can get that in. Guinness is a good example as well. You can more or less get Guinness in most places. You know, it's not unheard of to have in restaurants. It's not unheard of in having everywhere in every bar. It's very few places that don't actually serve Guinness, um, and so people overlook it. But it is one of those beers that if I'm looking at a bar and I can't decide what to have, and they've got Guinness on, pint of Guinness. And also, this is a secret, and I do this a lot. Um, if you drink quite a lot of Guinness, for example, or whatever your special beer is. But Guinness is so widely available. You can go into a place, have a pint, a half, whatever you like, um, and you can make a judgment because you know what it should be like. And if it isn't, if it's not well kept, you can sort of make an analogy and go, well, Guinness, you know, it's nitrogenated, but it's not that difficult to store. And nitrogen's an inert gas, so it should keep the beer in top quality a lot longer than, say, cask, definitely, but draft beers anyway. So if they've managed to fuck Guinness up, dude, do you really want to be drinking beer in this place? Do you know what I mean? If they've messed something up that's so easy to do. It's like if you're seeing someone, girl, boy, animal, mineral, vegetable, whatever it is, and they fuck up your toast in the morning, or they can't cook an egg, you're like, I don't know, man. But is this the right person to be with? Do you know what I mean? Is this the right bar to be drinking in? And you would be surprised how many pubs I've gone into and they cannot do a Guinness properly. It's ridiculous. But I'm waxing lyrical. We've gone way over time, so apologies. But that's what happens when you drink a reasonably strong beer. But it happens to me anyway. Let's have some more. If in doubt, drink some more beer. That's my philosophy. So our initial line has got a bit thin, but fair enough, it's still there. There's the fat one, and there's the next one. 3 sips on this beer, 3 distinct, and that's important, tide lines. If we look round the back, we've got some nice lacing, some nice foam, creating some nice foam art, which I still think is really, really important, dear viewer. When I do my reviews for the Kent tasting panel, of which I belong, I always make sure that I give an accurate report on the head, because I think head is a lost art, dear viewer. If people can't do a nice head properly, then, it's crazy. Anyway, there we go. That is the Basqueland, The Adventures of Mr. Malty. It's a Baltic porter. Oh, I said it was a stout. Sorry, it's a Baltic porter. Stouts, porters, you know what I mean. In this case, this is really interesting, actually. Sorry to keep you for so long from your dinner or whatever you're doing, Devia, but hopefully you like the sound of my dulcet tones. The difference between porter and stout, the lines do get blurred somewhat, especially when you're talking about Baltic porter, because it's so much like other types of stout. It's crazy, man. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, dear viewer, for listening to me for such a long time. Hopefully I've entertained you. As I said before, if you're not a member already of the John Army, please click like down below, subscribe, flick my bell, all that kind of stuff, so you'll never miss any more of Uncle John's goodness. I got some feedback actually saying, oh, Unclejona, that's so creepy. That's like, you sound like some sort of weird paedophile. It's like, for fuck's sake, I'm Unclejona because my nephew was born in 1998, and I have been Unclejona ever since, even though my dear Sammy is not around anymore. He died a couple of years ago. No, he died last year. Jesus Christ. It's all merging into one. I'm juxtaposing good news against bad news. But yeah, that is the enigma of my life, dear viewer. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yes, and my nephew, the reason why I became Uncle Jonna in the first place is no longer here in the world, and that's crazy. I have had other nieces and nephews since then, so I'm still Uncle Jonna, but I don't know why some people hear Uncle Jonna and think, oh, you're some weird like predator or something. Jesus Christ. You know what that says, dear viewer? It says if you're thinking that, and I really believe that, I believe what I'm going to say, it says more about you than it does about me. Um, so where does the issue lie? Hmm. Interesting way to end a video anyway, but dear viewer, please stick with me. I'm not going to hold it against you, and hopefully you're not going to hold that against me. Take care of each other. Please do. It's really important. Take care of yourselves, but remember to drink some beer. It does make you smarter, and we'll be back with more beer reviews real soon.